What's cooking, everybody? Dave Altizer here with Kinotika, and today I'm here to talk about the new camera from Sony, the a6400. What's that? 6400? That doesn't make any sense. The 6400. So apparently, only about an hour away from where we live, Sony is holding a press release about this new a6400. We didn't get an invite. Come on, Sony, let's go. Anyways, today Sony has announced the new a6400. That's right, I said the 6400, not the 6600, which would make sense since the last camera they released was the 6500. It doesn't make any sense. Look, if you really want to, you can go through the web and find a ton of information about the a6400 right now, but instead of wasting all your time watching those videos, why don't you just watch this one? A nice, concise top 10 video, aka we don't have hands-on on the camera, so this is our way of making content about it. By the way, this is not a 6400, this is the first thing to know about the Sony a6400 is the most exciting thing about this camera. The flip-up display. Not like this, not this crappy display that just kind of stops right here. It actually goes all the way up. That way you can make sure you don't have any salad in your teeth, or things hanging out of your neck, or your earlobes flapping in the wind. Which leads me to the second thing to know about this camera. There is no IBIS. No IBIS on the camera. That might be why they went from 65 to 64, because technically the 65 is better, because it's got IBIS. No IBIS on this camera. Dead as a doornail, just like a Canon. No IBIS. The third thing to know about the Sony a6400 is it has the same crap batteries that are in all the old Sony cameras. This is that crappy battery that is infamous on the internet for only giving you around 30 minutes of battery life on the old 6300. So you're gonna want to buy more batteries. The fourth thing to know about this camera is it has 4K at 30 frames per second and 1080p at 120 frames per second. If it's anything like the A63 or 6500s, then you know that the 4K resolution is going to be amazing. It downsamples from a 6K sensor size down to 4K, giving you a really clean image with almost no image issues. Other than, of course, rolling shutter, which this camera seems to have not solved at all. The rolling shutter on this camera is atrocious, and it reminds me a lot of the awful 6300. In terms of the slow motion at 120 frames per second, we want to do an official review looking at the quality of the footage. I really hope to see an improvement with the 120 frames per second on the new 6400 with the new processor inside of this camera. The older cameras like the 63 and 6500s didn't have the best slow-mo in the world, so hopefully it's much better on the 6400. We'll just have to see. The fifth thing to know about this camera is it has way better autofocus. In fact, Sony is saying this is the best autofocus system that they've ever put in any camera, like ever. This autofocus system on the a6400 has AI involved. AI as in artificial intelligence. Essentially what the camera is doing is looking at the image itself and seeing faces using a robot that is living inside of the body, deciding this is a face, this isn't a face, this is an animal with face tracking, this is a tomato. Things like that that only the Japanese robot people can do. The a6400 has 425 phase detect autofocus points and 425 contrast detect autofocus points, having the world's fastest autofocus at 0.02 seconds. If this is the truth and not fake news, we may actually have a real competitor to Canon's dual pixel autofocus with the a6400. Also, little sidebar, this autofocus system is coming to the A9 as well through a firmware update, so if you happen to be an A9 shooter, you get all these features as well. The sixth thing to know about the a6400 is they finally put the time-lapse feature back in the cameras. If you're not aware, Sony used to have intervalometer built into the camera using the Play Memories app. But with all the new camera bodies from Sony with the a7 III line, they took the Play Memories app away on the camera. So there's no way to do time-lapse internally. Until now, with the a6400, they put it back. The seventh thing to know about the a6400 is you can use that little XLR adapter thingy to plug in mics. We used that adapter when we went to Photokina on the a7 III using a wireless lav and a handheld microphone, and it worked amazing. The preamps on that adapter were great, and having a dial that was actually there that you can manipulate, not in software, but physically, was wonderful. You can actually use this XLR adapter thingy on the 6400, but one of the big downfalls of the a6400 is there's no headphone jack on the camera, just like the 6300. So if you're using professional microphones that are plugging in over XLR, kind of screwed using that adapter because, well, can't hear it. The eighth thing to know about the a6400 is it has improved color science. If you haven't been following Sony's history over the last couple years, kind of got a bad rap about their color science. It's never been perfect, especially with their first couple of cameras. It got much better with the 6300, but it wasn't until these new A7 III cameras that the color science has gotten acceptable. Of course, objectively, they're not as good as other manufacturers like Canon or Fuji, but I really think the color science has been fixed for the most part. We're getting that with the a6400, and that is a good thing. The ninth thing to know about this camera, especially for video shooters, is it has HLG recording and proxy internally. HLG is the new standard that's going to be going forward, and as we get high dynamic range monitors over the next couple years, HLG will matter more and more. But for now, it's actually been a lot of fun playing around with HLG footage in post-production and saving all that dynamic range and playing around with it. In addition to HLG, we also get proxy recording in camera. And the 10th thing that you need to know about this camera that is a huge deal is there is no 29-minute record limit. That's right, you actually heard me correctly. There is no record limit on the 6400, at least according to iJustine. That's where I got this information from.
This doesn't have the 29-minute limit.
So in theory, if you buy the Lexar 1TB SD card, which was just announced at CES, put it in the a6400, shoot 4K, you can record for like 20 hours. Or 30 minutes, because that's how long the battery lasts. The a6400 is not a direct replacement to the 6500. Even though there's a lot of newer features with this camera, technically speaking, it's kind of in between the 63 and the 65. Well, because it's 64. We're definitely going to pre-order this camera and do an official review on it as soon as we get our hands on one, so make sure to hit that subscribe button to see that video. What do you guys think of the 6400? Is it a camera that you're gonna buy? Having a camera under that $1,000 price point is pretty sweet, but there's a lot of features that I wish this camera had that it doesn't have. Let me know in the comment section below what you think. Once again, I'm Dave Altizer. The 6400 has a flip up screen, so you can't put a mic on the hot shoe without the screen hitting it, so you gotta put the mic off to the side, which is kind of a pain in the neck. So is it a good vlogger camera? I don't know. See you next time.